back to Select Start. I'm Dio.
And I'm Jay.
And we are continuing our look back at 2016 in gaming. Here's a game that came out that unfortunately got left in the dust. Battleborn. I'm sure you don't even remember it.
Nah, I don't.
It was the game done by the same people that did Borderlands and Borderlands 2, that came out around the same time as Overwatch. And like a lot of people, I was looking forward to the game, but the problem was it got put in the release window of Overwatch, and other big games like Doom came out that same month, which we already talked about. And it just got overshadowed by the Blizzard hype. But it didn't really deserve to be neglected. It was a fun game, but it's a no man's land at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how should I put it? You know how sometimes there's just like two competing games and one of them just gets crushed utterly to the point that that's exactly what happened to Battleborn, which it shouldn't have. I think it deserved a better market share than what it actually got, which is a shame because they put a lot of effort into the game, and I really enjoyed it, for what it was, but it's just bad timing. And we'll get to another game a little bit later on in the year, which I'm sure you already know which one I'm talking about. But that same month, Uncharted 4 came out, A Thief's End. Naughty Dog brings the Uncharted series to whole new epic levels. I mean, the best way that I could describe what makes the Uncharted series so special to people that do not have a PS4 like yourself is you had a lot of fun playing the new Tomb Raider remakes, right? Like
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Those games are Uncharted light. And the reason why I say that is because not because the gameplay in those games isn't fun or isn't as good as what you have in Uncharted. The difference being that I feel the narrative story that Naughty Dog is able to present in all of their games, especially Uncharted 4, makes you care about the characters, every single one of them. You care about the side characters, you care about their relationships, you care about what they're doing, you care about their mission. And it just draws you in a lot more than I felt drawn in by the Tomb Raider series. Even the reboots. Because if you think about it, the Tomb Raider reboots, it's like, okay, what's next? Okay, I'm in this section. And that's not to say that there wasn't effort put into those games. Like, there were side characters in Tomb Raider, right? But you can't remember a single one of their names, can you? I remember Sully's name. I remember Nathan Drake's and all his buddies. So that's the difference, in my opinion. The narrative story, and they really upped it with this game. Doom came out in May, that same month. Again, personally, if I had to pick, Game of the Year, Doom.
Yeah.
But that's my personal preference. There are other games that other people have given Game of the Year contendership and winners that I cannot argue with.
Yeah, Game of the Year it's per individual. It's not what the market says. It's not what the media says. It's what you think was the greatest game for you.
Let's see. Total War Warhammer.
Total War always were great games, but this version, Warhammer, wasn't that mobile?
No.
Okay.
You're thinking about another game.
Maybe.
Total War Warhammer was... okay. You remember Total War Shogun, and you had Total War Rome and all that? Mm-hmm. Super militaristic. This is the first one that took the Warhammer concept. So orcs and dwarves and humans and taking that large-scale military strategy where it matters where you place your archers, where you place your pikemen, where you place like that kind of strategy, amped up to like 11. So it's like the metalist game that you could think of. And again, it's because it takes the concept of that strategy gaming, similar to what you get with XCOM and tabletop gaming, where placement means as much as the actual unit itself, and brings it to that gigantic scale of giant wars, where you could get lost in like literally watching your peons charge into battle and kill each other, and then for like 10 minutes, and then oh crap, I forgot about the rear flank. I gotta give them movement. But absolutely stunning game. Let's see here. Going down the list, we have, let's see here, Mirror's Edge Catalyst. I was not a fan of the first Mirror's Edge. I heard this one really did not do it justice as a sequel slash reboot, soft reboot, I guess. So disappointed there. Mighty Number 9.
Oh, big disappointment.
And you know what's disappointing for me is really on a personal level, the design of the game is the biggest letdown of them all.
My biggest letdown is how they collected so much money and couldn't make something of that value of what they collected at their Kickstarter.
Well, look, the whole thing is surrounded by controversy if you think about it. Raising $3 million on Kickstarter,
and they raised,
and then
more
trying to
$3
raise
million.
more money,
Yeah.
For different projects, even though the first one hadn't been done. How different? How should I say? The art style changed. That's what was disappointing to me. The art style changing from something so original and innovative to something pretty generic. It feels like a bad Mega Man game, you know what I mean? And I was expecting so much more. And especially for the 3 million. But what can you do? Let's see here. Umbrella Corps. Konami. Just. Oof. Not Konami, sorry. Capcom here. Doing a freaking shit. Taking their Resident Evil series. I mean, the reason I said Konami, sorry guys, is because Konami is basically doing this with Metal Gear Solid. The Metal Gear franchise with their Metal Gear game that they're coming out with next, where it's got the zombie corns.
Yeah.
This is Capcom's version of that. So if you want to know what the next Metal Gear game from Konami is going to look like, I'm basically predicting it's Umbrella Corps here, where it's a super repetitive game where you're doing the same missions in the same environments over and over and over again from the perspective of soldiers you don't give a shit about because it's the soldiers of Umbrella Corps.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you have to pay for DLC for the characters if you want to play as any of the classic characters. You have to pay for DLC to like change the color of their costumes, like to red, orange, or whatever. Like it's a microtransaction factory, in a sense, that way. Followed by super repetitive and uninspired gameplay. Like it's a cash grab, and I feel sorry for people who bought this game. Okay, here's a game that's I'm about to mention that makes up for another game earlier in the list. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Yeah, that was fun.
This brought the Lego franchise to me back to life. After the disappointment that I had with Lego Marvel's Avengers, and not that it wasn't fun, I just wasn't as inspired by it as I was with the other Lego games. Mm-hmm. This brought it back for me. From the classic Star Wars feel of both the movie and the gameplay.
And the comedy of Lego.
It brought it to life. It really brought it back to life. It reminded me what made the original Lego Star Wars games such gigantic hits.
Man, when the first ones came out, I loved them. I had so much fun. These are great too, you know.
So, like, honestly, an amazing game. personally one of my contenders for Game of the Year.
Really?
It is. That, Doom, I'll mention them as we run through them, but that and Doom are two of my favorite games that came out this year. They're the games I've spent the most time in. Here's a game that, how should I put this? Some people argue isn't a Game of the Year, but has to be at least mentioned in the great games conversation of this year because of the phenomenon that it was. Pokemon Go.
Oh my god.
Everybody, and I mean everybody, was playing Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Yeah, I tried it, then a few hours later, I just nah.
Oh yeah, like the drop-off rate is tremendous, but this game is still generating a ton of money for Nintendo. It's still a bona fide hit, and there's something to be said about the fact that for a while, literally everybody was playing it. You could go out to a park and see families and people running around with their phones out. So it has to be mentioned in terms of great games that came out this year, even if it was a flash in the pan type gaming phenomenon, like let's say Angry Birds was, or Flappy Birds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what? It revived the love of Pokemon for a lot of people. Like, I know people that went out and bought Pokemon Sun and Moon because Pokemon Go reminded them how much they loved Pokemon.
And you saw me when I started playing that. I'm like, let me get back into Silver. I pulled out my Game Boy cartridge, popped it in, and had some fun.
Here's a game that I would consider worst game of the year, and we're going to talk about it real quick, only to warn people, because I don't want to wait for another episode before warning people not to play this game. The Ghostbusters game that came out for Windows, PS4, and Xbox One in July of this year.
Well, the movie was horrible, so...
The movie was horrible just because it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get into that because a lot of people are going to start like having that weird conversation that we don't want to have.
Yeah.
But the game itself, again, twin stick shooter, super repetitive, super crappy. And here's the worst part. Its art style had potential. If you look at the art style of that game, you could think, yeah, you know what? They could make a good Saturday morning cartoon out of this for kids.
Not a game.
But the writing was garbage. The gameplay was garbage. And then they have the balls on a full-priced game to throw in microtransactions. And when I mean microtransactions, changing their outfits from the default suit to the quote-unquote classic Ghostbusters suit.
$3.
So, absolutely not. Do not buy this game. It does not deserve your money. It's a lazy cash grab. And you know what? That's all I got to say about that. So, we'll continue this conversation next time on Select Start. See you then.